Good morning. My name is Christy with Sacred Wild Roots in Wilmington, North Carolina, and today is March 20th. It's the day after the spring equinox, so we are in the season of spring and everything's blooming around. Bulbs are popping up and trees are budding and wild medicinal weeds. Our plant ally friends are showing their faces and adorning the earth right now, coming up, showing their faces. And what these plants have for us is, the wild weeds in particular, are that they are nutritive, nourishing medicine that we can use for food, or make as tea blends, or making overnight infusions, which is a extract into hot water left overnight on the counter for 4 to 8 hours, creating a really strong, powerful medicinal infusion of the plant medicine. And so today my intention is to share with you how to make an overnight infusion with a nourishing herb. And I'll first show you red clover, which is a beautiful spring ally for purifying the body, the energy, our energetic field, helping support us detox from our liver to our kidneys, through our blood, through our lymph, really helping us find balance. And that's the theme of spring, is balance, where the light of day equals the dark of night. And a lot of these herbs that grow around this time of year are super supportive in keeping us balanced and keeping us nourished and grounded and feeling supported, so that we can continue to align with our highest selves and feel more vital with our energy levels. So what we'll need to make an overnight infusion is some mason jars, or one. I really like this size to make a large brew. And then I'll be able to strain and save this size for like 2 to 3 days. So I'll have enough to drink for 2 or 3 days. And that's pretty much the length of time that it's good for. But you can keep it stored in the fridge. So you'll need a mason jar. You'll need a seal with a lid. I really prefer the wide mouth mason jars, and this is a smaller version. So I have about a 32 ounce here, and this one's about 12 to 16 ounces, somewhere in there, depending on how much you fill it. So you'll need that. You'll also need some sort of strainer. These are great. This is like a mesh lid you can place on your mason jar to strain it. Very handy. You can use like a cup strainer, putting it into like a coffee mug and then straining your tea there. Or you can use one of these inset strainers. Also a wonderful strainer is like these milk nut bags, which finely strain so that you don't get all the small pieces in your tea. So those are really lovely. Another thing I recommend is a white chalk marker, so that you can write the name of your infusion and the date, so that you remember what it is and how long it's good for. So those are the materials that you'll need. You'll also need herbs, dried herbs. You want to use organic herbs. You can also find them fresh and harvest them fresh from a place where pesticides aren't used, and a location that you're very familiar with and feel that are safe and not contaminated. But this is red clover, and I'm gonna fill this size mason jar and this little bit smaller size. Again, I like using the wide mouth because it's just easier to work with, easier to strain, and they just hold a lot more quantity. So with nourishing herbs, now a little can go a long way, so you can use 1 to 3 tablespoons, but also the way that I was taught from my teacher, she's pretty intuitive like I am, so I rarely measure. but we can measure here just so if that's helpful to you. So this is a 1/4 cup. But normally I just grab like 1 or 2 handfuls and fill the jar, bottom of the jar. I also have just boiled some water. So I have that on standby. So you could leave a 1/4 cup in this smaller jar, but I'm gonna add just a little bit more. It's like 1/2 cup. For what you were looking for with your dried herbs and red clover, I get mine from Mountain Rose Herbs. I've also have gotten mine before from Frontier Co-op, and Star West Botanicals is another great brand. There's a little too much in there, so just shift. So I have about a little less than 1/2 cup in this jar, and a little over 1/2 cup in this jar. So as you can see, I fill it pretty heavily. So that's the amount of red clover I'm using. Next, I will grab some just boiled water, and you'll pour the water into the jar, filling to the bottom of the rim here, just leaving a little bit of room for so that it can mix. And you'll want to seal it immediately, just to keep all the medicine inside the jar, and then you'll give it a shake. And I typically do this as a ritual in the evenings, and I'll leave these on the counter overnight, but I'm doing this video during the day so that you can see what I'm doing. You can also just brew tea on the stove or in a mason jar for 25 to 30 minutes to get a really nice infusion. And some other things you can add to this are cinnamon or mint to flavor it up. But I really like working with plants one-on-one to really help me get to know the plant and feel how it's working in my body. Keeping things simple is wonderful. So you can really build a relationship and connection to the plant. So we give it a good shake. And there you go. You have your infusions. And you definitely don't have to use that much quantity. You can get like a 1 pound bag, or actually it's not a pound bag, but it's a pretty large bag, about 4 ounces for like $17. So also, if you live here locally, Tidal Creek Co-op is a wonderful place to get your dried herbs. They have all organic herbs, and they use the same sources as I do. And you can adjust your dosage quantity as you feel, if you need more or less. But I love my nutrients. Red clover is such a powerful nutritive herb, giving us lots of vitamins and minerals and essential nutrients that we need to help clear our energy, feel more grounded, feel more supportive, and just feel more balanced, get better rest. And it's a wonderful women's ally. It's great for grief, heartache, transitions in life, such as menopause. Also great for men for their prostate, particularly if you have like swollen glands. This plant has an affinity to glands in the body. So it's anti-tumor, anti-cancer, helps drain the lymph, and really great for sore throats for children. So a beautiful plant ally to work with. So that's how you make an overnight infusion of red clover, and I hope you try it and enjoy it this spring and notice the shifts that it creates in you. Blessed be. Thanks for tuning in.